So for those of you that don't know me, my name's Dan. I'm one of the owners here at Studio Blue. This is a Sculpt class, so the first half is going to be more upright movement, similar to things you can do on the reformer. And the second half of the class is going to be more kind of classic mat Pilates work. All you're going to need tonight, optional weights. So if you have light weights, 2, 3, 4 pounds, something like that, or soup cans, that'll work. If you have heavier weights, I'll give you some options for bicep curls or shoulder presses. But if you don't have heavier, that's okay. And if you don't have weights at all, that is a-okay as well. I'm going to give you a lot of different places to go, something from more of a foundational place. And I'm going to give you a lot of ways to add on. And tonight we're going to go into some dynamic balance work, really good for the function of the glutes and the hips. But again, we'll build it up. If the upper tier doesn't feel good, you can always peel it back down. And same with some cardio work. I'm going to give you a bunch of different cardio stuff to do tonight. And don't feel like you have to take that if it doesn't feel good. So all of that said, let's bring our weights up to the top edge of the mat, bring your water up to the top edge of the mat. And even if I don't tell you, you can grab water at any time. So all of that said, let's come onto our mat. We're going to be standing, and feet are going to be about 2 fist distance or inner hip bone distance apart. Toes shining forward. And you're going to start by closing your eyes and taking a couple of deep breaths. So breathing in through the nose and out through an open mouth. And as you inhale, start to lift your shoulders up into your ears. And exhale, roll the shoulders back and down. And again, inhale, shoulders lift up. And exhale, together and back. So we're starting to build some mobility or some movement into the shoulders. And as you pull back and together, start to wake up some of those muscles that live in between the shoulder blades. And then reversing shoulder blades together, up, forward, and down. So just gently mobilizing the shoulders, bringing some awareness to the shoulder blades. And then allow your arms to be heavy, nod your chin, and roll down 1 vertebra at a time towards the floor. And soften the knees when you get there. Let your head roll left and right, up and down. And then stay heavy in the upper body. And as you exhale, root through your feet, rolling up through your body, your spine, 1 vertebra at a time. Head comes up last. Your left arm is going to lift up and stretch over. So just a gentle side stretch. Bring it down. And then right arm comes up and over. Hips staying still, feet staying grounded. And just 1 more on each side. Left arm reaching up and over. Shoulders softening out of the ears. And right arm up and over. We'll take both arms up to the sky. And then as you exhale, push the walls away, nod the chin 1 more time, roll down through your spine. Soften the knees as much as you need to hang forward. As you exhale, root through the feet, roll up again, 1 vertebra at a time. Inhale, open the arms, look up. Hands come together at your chest. We'll step the legs out fairly wide, a little wider than your shoulders, toes at 10 and 2, and we're going to sink down into a squat. So this first initial squat, roll the shoulders back. Your body's leaning a little forward. And we have our weight through the whole foot. First ball of the foot, last ball of the foot, center of the heel. As you exhale, rise up, press through your legs, feel your glutes and your thighs kick in. Inhale, sink down through your hip joints. Exhale, press through the feet, rise up. Inhale down. So keep going with this. I'm just going to demo from the side. So as you're coming down, make sure you're not overly rounding your back or overly arcing your back. So you're maintaining neutral spine, neutral pelvis, hinging through the hips, and warming up our joints. So the ankles, the knees, and the hips. Now, when we start to get into more of our balance work and our lunging work, you can always come back to squatting at any point, even if I don't tell you. A couple more like this. And then we're gonna add on inhaling down. Exhale, push the arms behind you. Inhale, hands to your heart. So start to activate under the armpit, the back of the shoulder, opening the front of the chest gently. And as the arms are reaching back, make sure the ribs aren't popping or flaring. And you're only going so low that you can stay within your muscles. You don't feel like you're just kind of hanging out in your joints. Couple more like this. And at the bottom of your squat, notice if your knees are rolling in. Can you keep them reaching towards your second and your first toe? Notice if your arches are collapsing, can you keep a little bit of lift? Next time you come down, let's hold. And again, doesn't have to be real low. You can always come up a little bit higher, or just find that place where you feel like your thighs and your glutes, the back of the thighs, are on. Sometimes putting a little bit of weight in the heels will help turn on the back of the body. So just holding here and breathing, rolling the shoulders out of the ears. Now in your next exhale, we're gonna rise up and you're gonna take your left arm, just push it across the body so your upper spine is rotating, your hips are square. Inhale back to center, lower. And then right arm pushes across the body. Inhale down, exhale, reach. So as your upper body is moving and twisting, your hips are staying completely still. So imagining that there's headlights on them, those headlights are pointing forward the whole time. And we're not pushing through the rotation, we're using our breath to guide it. Just waking things up. Good, one more. To your right, we'll come back to center, hold. Roll the shoulders out of the ears one last time. Take a breath in. As you exhale, hands are gonna come down to the ground, step back into a plank. So your feet and thighs can come together on this. Fingers are spread wide, upper back is wide, and just so you can see me from the side here, you wanna make sure that your hips aren't overly sinking, they're not overly up. You're somewhere in the middle. At any point, knees can come down to the ground, or you can always come down onto your forearms. And then notice what your feet are doing. So if you look back, sometimes you just have to kind of see. Notice if one foot's rolling out or rolling in, can you even out that weight across both feet? On your next breath out, lift the hips up into down dog. Take a full breath in through your nose and out through an open mouth. Start to walk forward. Imagine your feet were on a train track, so as you walk forward, the legs are parallel, grab your weights, roll back up, one bone at a time. So we're gonna come down, feet and thighs are together. We have our weights, our soup cans in hand, and we're gonna sink back into a chair pose or a squat, kind of like a low squat. And you wanna make sure that you can still see your toes. So if I look down, my knees aren't so far forward that I can't see my toes. Hands come to the chest, shoulders roll down and out of the ears. Now I'm gonna put weight into my right leg and I'm gonna step my left leg back. I'm gonna step it forward and step it back. Step it forward, step it back, right? So that left leg's the only leg that's moving, side profile view. And my right leg, making sure the knee isn't rotating in, the weight's even across the foot. So I'm starting to build some heat into my thigh and my glutes. Good, next time you press the leg back, you can reach the arms, pull them in, reach back. And you should start to feel some muscles in your lower leg and in your foot starting to warm up, especially if you're not wearing shoes. These muscles tend to be a little underutilized, underworked. So this is where we can add on tonight. The next time that you reach back, hold. So if you want to add on, The weights come to your chest. I rise up, so I'm standing, I'm balancing, and then I'm gonna reach my arms back. I'm gonna barely tap my foot on the ground, and then I'm using that standing leg to bring me up and bring my weights to my heart. So the arms sweep back, small tap, pull back up, right? So it's the same muscle groups that we were working when we were still, except now we're just adding movement into the standing leg. So that glute and hamstring has to pull us back up. Inhaling back, exhaling up, right? If this version doesn't feel good in your hips, your back, or your knee, come back to that first version. Last two like this. Last one. Reach back and hold. So now that front leg, we're still on that same leg. It's gonna stay still. I'm gonna take my back leg, tap it forward so it's in line with my bottom foot. The arms come slightly forward, my shoulders roll back. I'm gonna take that left leg, reach it out to the side, pull it back in. Reach, pull. Now as the leg reaches out, I can open my arms, pull them in, open, pull them in. Try to keep your hips square. Try to keep the shoulders rolling down and out of the ears. And as your arms open, start to feel the back of the shoulders and the shoulder blades. Now again, if you want to add on, the next time you pull in, rise up to balance. And the next time you come down, you're bending into that standing leg. I reach my left leg out, open the arms, pull back in. So keep going. This is what it looks like from the front view. Some opening, pulling. There's that moment of balance. Open, moment of balance. So it's a speed skater. Really making sure, being mindful that that standing knee isn't diving in. There's a little lean through the body. And again, always to level up. You can always peel back to the foundation. Should really be starting to feel some heat through that standing leg, your standing foot. Last two. And on the last one, weights to your chest, hold and balance. Right? So if you want, that left toe can be on the ground. Make sure your standing leg isn't locked. We're just holding here, rolling the shoulders, waistline's in. Take an inhale. And then set that left foot down, shake out that standing leg for a moment. Bend back into both knees, hips go back in space. Now you want some weight on that left leg, the right leg taps back, taps forward. Back and forward. So avoid your pelvis twisting and avoid that front leg rolling in. So you want to feel that standing leg, the glutes, the thigh muscles, they're on. You can add the arms at any time. Pull in, reach back. Pull in, reach back. And then once you feel the movement, find a place where you're looking down on the floor, maybe 2 to 3 feet in front of you. So you're not always kind of craning your head or your neck up at the screen. Now, if you want to add on to this, I'll do it from the side. Next time you reach back, we hold. We rise up, weights come to the chest, ears, shoulders, hips, everything's one long line. I reach back, I bend into my front leg, I tap my back leg barely to the floor, I drive up through my standing leg. Inhale it back, exhale it up. So this is the progression. Inhaling back, exhaling up. So this is getting all of the glutes, your hip rotators, glute min, glute med, and glute max. Again, can you peel back to that starting pose at any point? Definitely. Couple more like this. Might start being a little bit shaky. You might notice one side is a little shakier than the other. Good, last one. And then let's meet. Your right leg is back, still on that same standing leg. Arms can sweep forward, shoulders roll out of the ears. Exhale, the arms open to a T. Pull them in. Allow your back leg to come forward. And now tap your back leg out to the side while you open the arms. Pull it in. Tap it out. Again, front view. Still on that same leg. We tap out. Pull it in. Tap out. Pull it in. So it's a speed skater. Now your arms can always go down at a low V if that feels better on your neck. You can always ditch the weights. And just make sure as your right leg is reaching out, the pelvis isn't moving with it. Now you can add on, so the next time your leg reaches out, you can pull in, straightening through that standing leg, making sure it's not locked. And then I send the hips back, tap my leg barely to the floor, open the arms, pull back. Coming tall, reach, eyes towards the floor, and then eyes towards me. Reach. So this one is really good if you like to walk a lot, run, a bike, hike. Right? So it's good for all of us, but there's different levels. So again, if you haven't been doing too much balance work lately, it's okay to stay with that first option and build up to this. And just on some days, our balance is better than others. Last two. Last one. Rise up, let's all balance on that same standing leg. Make sure the knee isn't locked, your hips are square, your shoulders are soft. You should be feeling quite a bit of work in that lower leg and down into the arch of your foot. Set the right leg down, nod the chin, roll down in space. Set your weights off to the side, step back into a plank. Fingers spread wide, chest open, tummy in, weight even through the balls of the feet. Now you can stay here or adding on, you can take right leg, tap it forward, tap it back. Left leg, tap it forward, tap it back. So it's a slowed down mountain climber. And you want to make sure that if you're moving the legs, the torso and the pelvis are still. So you're starting to use your core to stabilize. Keep pressing the shoulder blades wide. Inner elbows are facing one another. And both your triceps and your biceps should be on. One more at the left leg. Reach it back, lift the hips up through a down dog, hold. Take a full breath in through your nose and out through an open mouth. Okay, start to walk the hands and feet towards one another. Grab your weights, roll up again, one vertebra at a time. So again, we're gonna take the feet this time about fist distance apart. So inner hip distance, we're gonna sit back into a small squat. And then I'm gonna put some weight into my right leg. My left leg is gonna tap back again and tap forward. So you can stay here, that's the foundation, or tap back, hold, bring your body upright, bend into both legs and pause. So your back knee, your left knee is just a little bit behind the hip, the shoulders are out of the ears. And then you're gonna press through both legs to rise up. And then inhale, you can come down a quarter of the way, halfway, or 3/4 of the way to the floor. Press through that front leg to rise up. And then as you go down, option, you can lift the arms out in front of you. Slowly drop the weights as your body comes up. Weights come up as your body goes down. So you wanna make sure on this one that you're really hinging through your hips, especially that front hip. And as you press up, you feel both legs, not just one. Good, a couple more like this, so split lunge. Again, you have all those options that we did in the beginning of class, if that feels better tonight. Good, last two. Last one. Good, and we're simply just gonna switch legs. So switching so you're facing the other side, or if you're facing me, just switching legs. Now again, your left leg can be still, right leg taps forward and back. Or that right leg is back, we hold, we bend into both legs, bringing the body upright. You don't want to be too far leaning back or too far forward. Waistline in, bend into the legs, into the hips, rise up. Again, arms can come forward as we go down. Keep the core in. Nice. Shoulders soft. And make sure that your front foot, the first toe, isn't trying to do all of the work to keep you upright. Last three, two, last one, rise up, right? Turn to face me. If you're facing to the side, your legs are gonna be wider than your shoulders, toes facing forward. Roll down for a wide-legged straddle stretch. Weights just come off to the side for a moment. Soften the knees a little bit. Walk your arms over to the right and just hold there. So it's a gentle side stretch for the side of the body, also into the outer hips. Walk the arms over to the left, easing into the shoulders. Nice, and then no weights needed. Soften those knees, roll yourself up. One vertebra at a time, walk the feet in, and you're just gonna start to march. So as you're marching, you wanna make sure that your waistline is still in, so you're not starting to lean back and arc the spine, but your core muscles are in. Then you might start to bring the legs a little bit higher. You might start to find a place where you're in kind of just a light run. And then if you watch your feet, make sure that one foot doesn't start turning out or turning in. So imagine that you're on a train track. You can start to bring the legs a little bit higher if you want to add on or increase your heart rate. And I'm just holding the wire out in front of me so it doesn't bounce around too much on the floor. But as your pace starts to increase, notice if you're starting to lean away from your pelvis. Keep your core in. Heart rate should be coming up a little bit. Start to slow it down, coming back to that march that we started with. Now, second option, feet are together, arms are by our side. You're gonna take left arm and leg out, bring it in. Right arm and leg out, bring it in. So it doesn't have to necessarily, leg doesn't have to reach very far. Out, in, out, in. So that's option one. Option two, right? So it can be a small jumping jack. If jumping jacks don't feel good, option to always come back to running in place. Hands can always come to your heart or your hips, so you can just move through the legs if you want. You don't even have to add the arms. Again, I'm gonna hold my wire, so I'm not adding the arms. If you want, both arms can come out to the side about shoulder height. They don't have to go super high. And again, the legs don't have to go very wide. 10 seconds left here. We just want to try to get the heart rate up a little bit more tonight. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. So we're going to roll down again. Hands coming towards top edge of the mat. Feet and legs walk back. Spread the fingers quite a bit. And put some weight down through the outer pinky side of the hand. Now options, you can come onto the knees, the forearms, right knee can come forward, or instead of the foot staying on this parallel line, it can tap across to the outer edge of your mat, center, and then left foot taps to the outer edge of your mat.
So I'm bending, tapping across, allowing the rotation through my pelvis and through my torso. Making sure I'm not collapsing. Shoulders are still square. All right, if you want more work, you might just start to tap that foot a little further away from you and reach it a little longer. Using the waistline to come back to center. And to your last side. Find that plank, wherever it may be. Lift your hips up into down dog. Now soften the knees as much as you need to be able to lift your hips high. So from your ears, shoulders to hips, you're one long line. And then maybe the heels are reaching towards the floor. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. That's okay either way. Start to shift your weight forward. Lower your knees down to the ground. Relax the toes. Take the hands just a little bit wider, right? Make sure you're not overly rounded, not overly arced. We're gonna inhale, bend those elbows wide. Come down slowly, maybe halfway into a push-up. Use your chest to press up. Inhale down, 3, 2, 1. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Now, can you be in a full plank? Definitely. Can you just hold plank or just hold forearm plank like this? Yeah, definitely, that's okay. So if the wrists need to offload, that's all right. Or another option, if you have heavier weights or even lighter weights, if the wrists don't like push-ups, you can come down onto the ground. And then as you inhale, open the arms for a chest press, exhale to push up. All right, so lots of different options there to work through the front of the chest and the front of the shoulders. Wherever you are, let's meet in your plank. So your style plank, either this full plank, knees down plank, or forearm plank, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Lift the hips. One last time to down dog. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Take an inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it out. And then slowly shift back to plank, lower the knees, push back, child's pose. Feet together, knees open, arms reaching out in front. So the chest is opening, the lower back and the pelvis. Everything's getting a stretch. Take one full breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then as you exhale, let's shift forward. We're all gonna come down onto our forearms. And you can start by walking the knees back, letting the hips come down slightly. So again, neutral pelvis, we don't want to be too arced or too rounded. Hug the inner elbows in, push down through your forearms quite a bit so your upper back is wide. Right, at any point, you can extend the legs, lift the hips, and just hold. Holding and breathing. Now you can bring the feet and thighs completely together. And if you want to add on, your hips aren't going to move, your shoulders don't move. You're going to take your left leg, just tap it away from the body slightly, pull it in, and then right leg taps away, we pull it in. Reaching and in. And again, these are all progressions to up level. Another option here, you could be on the hands and knees, reaching one leg out, over, in, and down. Out, over, in, and down. So wherever you are today, lots of different options. One more to the left, and then end to your right. And then once you finish that right side, soften the knees, press up onto the hands and knees, round your spine like a cat. So as you round, let your head relax for a moment, let your glutes relax, press through your hands, and stretch out the back of your waist. As you inhale, open the chest, slide the shoulders down, look forward, arcing through the spine. And then find the place that's in the middle of those two extremes. And then the knees are gonna come in so they're about fist distance apart. And you're gonna take your right leg and reach it behind you. So now the right toes are on the ground. I'm gonna firmly press into my right arm and I'm gonna take my left arm and then reach it towards the sky. So I want to feel the rotation coming from my upper spine. And then I'm going to come back to center. I'm going to stay on that same side. So my left arm is reaching up. I'm rooting down through my right hand. So there's that opposition. And coming down. Just 2 more. Only go so far if this feels comfortable in your lower back. Then the idea is that the chest, the upper back and the chest are leading the rotation, not the top arm. Good, bringing it down, we'll switch sides. So left leg reaches back. So the front of that hip is open. I'm rooting through my left arm. The right arm is gonna start to rotate. Now it might be here, so I might just bring my hand up so it's about in line with my shoulder. Or if it feels okay to find that full rotation. And on this one, if the pelvis wants to move a little bit, allow it. Try not to push through this, but encourage it through your breath. Good, that's the last one. Again, feet together, knees open, take a child's pose. Arms reaching out. Take a full breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then let's make our way onto our back. Have your smaller weights close by, just in case you need them, or your soup cans. They're sometimes kind of handy in roll-ups. And then bring yourself all the way down and find a place where knees are bent, feet are flat, about hip distance apart. Hands come together behind the head, elbows into your peripheral vision. And then as you exhale, nod your chin, curl the head and the chest up, sliding the front of your ribs down. Inhale, lower the chest. And again, exhale, curl, ribs sliding down, belly drawing in. Inhale, lower. So as you curl up, watch that your hips aren't rotating under. You're not overly working your butt muscles or your lower back. Just a couple more like this. And this is going to be the foundation to all of our ab work tonight. Last one, nodding the chin, curling up. The head's lifting because the ribs are dropping down. The next time your head lowers, let your arms relax by your side. Shoulders are out of the ears, palms are pressing down. Start to curl your tail by using the abdominals. And then as your hips start to lift, now start to feel the back of your glutes turning on. All right, feel the knees stretching forward, the heels pushing down and pulling towards your shoulders. Take an inhale at the top. Exhale, roll down, upper, middle, and lower spine. Let your pelvis open to neutral at the bottom. And again, curl the tail, roll back up, pressing through the feet, stretching through the knees, opening through your hips. And again, rolling it down slowly. Upper spine, middle spine, lower spine. You can stay here, or the next time that we curl up, stay lifted at the top. And just for a moment, check in. You can place your hands at your hip bones, make sure that they feel even. One isn't down lower than the other. The front of the ribs are heavy, so your obliques are working to pull your ribs down towards the top of your hips. Keep some weight in that left foot option. Right leg floats up tabletop. Make sure you haven't rotated or twisted. Let that foot come down, put weight into it. And then opposite leg, left leg floats up. Bring it down and lift it up. So this is another way to work on balance. We're not standing, but it's working similar glute muscles to help keep your pelvis balanced. Now at any point, your arms can come down by your side. You can always turn the palms to face up. And again, you might still have both feet on the ground. That's okay. That option 2, you're marching. Option 3, right leg is tabletop. We're going to keep it there. We're staying on our left leg. We're going to tap the right toes towards the floor. Draw back up slowly. And again, tap. Waistline stays in. Bring it up. You should start to feel some work into that left glutes. Last 4, if we're on one leg. 3, 2. On 1, set the right foot down, pause. Reestablish your abdominals, left leg can float up. Inhale, tap the toes down. Exhale to lift. Now, if your back starts to get grumpy, you can always take your hips down a little lower. Right? And then as your hips get stronger, as your core gets stronger, you can always come back into a higher position. Last 4 from here. 3, 2. Last 1. Set the left foot down, pause. So feel that both feet are heavy on the ground. Exhale, roll down slowly. Let the pelvis open to neutral. And then if you have your weights close by, you can grab them if you want them. Again, they're just added here for a little bit more weight and work for your shoulders. Legs can reach out long, toes point. Nod the chin, the arms come forward, right? If you have weights, it's gonna help pull you up to seated. So now we're sitting tall, shoulders are out of the ears, the hands are shoulder height. If you have those weights, it's gonna be a little bit more challenging in the shoulders. Exhale, curl the tail, roll down slowly, waistline drawing in. Now the arms can reach overhead, just make sure that the rib cage doesn't pop. And then we lift the arms, the head and the chest follow, right? Restack, sit tall. Now sometimes rolling up a towel under the lower back or having just a small gardening pad feels good. Right? So if your back or your hips tend to be tight, you can always take a small towel or something like that underneath the back to help. Good. One more like this, and then we'll give you some ways to add on. Last one. Nice. So ways you can add on, we're gonna roll down. Arms reach overhead. And then this time as you come up, you can float the right leg to tabletop. We're gonna curl up almost into like a half teaser. So my upper body is still gonna be fairly straight. My lower back is rounded, my arms are forward. I'm gonna lower that leg to the ground as I come down, stretching the arms overhead. And then as I lift my arms, head and chest, the left leg can float up through tabletop, kind of like a half teaser. The leg lowers, we curl, articulate down through the spine. And again, arms, head, chest, right? Once you start to roll through the lower back, that's when you can lift the leg through tabletop. It comes back down. Head and chest up first. Left leg floats up. Right heel is actively reaching into the ground. Just one more each side. Or if you're still doing your roll-ups, just keep doing your roll-ups. Good. Here's our last one. Good, lifting. And then let's all meet at the bottom. Good, we're gonna take our left weight down to the ground. So I just have a weight in my right hand. And again, the weight's not needed. So if you don't have one, A-okay. Left hand behind my head. So right arm's reaching up, left hand behind the head. I'm gonna bend my right leg. I'm gonna float my left leg up to tabletop. So starting here, pelvis is neutral. I'm gonna curl my head and chest, reaching my right hand past my left knee. I'm gonna lower the head and the chest and reach that arm overhead. So I'm curling up, hand past the knee, lowering down. Options to add on, your right leg can reach long, pressing the heel into the ground. That's kind of nice because it opens up the front of the hip. But if that feels a little too unstable in the lower back, just come back to that first option. Make sure you're going slow on this and make sure that the ribs aren't popping, but they're staying down. You're controlling the hand, the arm, the weight if you have it. And last layer here, we can curl up. And then as you lower, you can take the left leg so it's barely hovering over the floor. We pull it back to tabletop as we curl. It reaches out, lengthens, hovers, and we curl. Lengthen, reach, hover, curl, and just one more. Lengthen. Good. And then set the left foot down. We can switch hands. So both knees bent to start. Left arm reaching to the sky, right hand behind the head. Right leg floats tabletop, hips are square, pelvis is neutral. So I'm gonna curl up, allowing my left hand to reach just past my right thigh. I take it down, bringing that arm overhead. So I curl up, and then I bring it down slowly. Now your left leg can definitely come down to the ground, curling and lowering. So that's nice because it'll give you a sense of opening through the front of the hip. Make sure as you lower, the ribs aren't flaring or popping, the head staying heavy. Nice, couple more. Inhaling down. Exhaling up. If you want to add on, you can lengthen that right leg to hover. Again, core is in, ribs are heavy, and then we bend the leg to curl, lengthen, lower, curl, lengthen, lower, curl. Last three. Two. And last one. Nice, and then let that leg come all the way down to the ground. You can set your weight off to your side and just kind of wiggle the legs in and out a couple times. You can shake the legs out a bit. All right, and then your thighs are together. Arms to the sky, nod the chin, reach the arms forward, roll yourself up, and just take a stretch forward for a moment. So relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the head. And then as you exhale, start to roll up to a seated position. Again, grab your weights if you have them. You don't necessarily need the weights to make this effective. And we're gonna start to work into your external rotators. So really good if you've been having to sit at a desk a lot lately, which I'm sure all of us have, or a couch or a bed, but definitely on a computer more than we typically probably are. So again, weights, soup cans, or no weights, whatever you have, shoulders roll out of the ears, palms face up, elbows are bent to 90 degrees. You're gonna externally rotate your arms and inhale, pull back in. Externally rotating, pulling back in. So keep going with this. And I want you to think of where these muscles live. So they're on the top of your shoulder blade and they're helping to rotate your upper arm bone out. So it's your infraspinatus and your teres minor. They're two rotator cuff muscles. Now these are smaller muscles, so they don't typically need a really heavy load. They like a lighter load at more repetition. So this is your option one, so external rotation. Option two, your elbows are bent to about 90 degrees. I'm gonna turn to the side for this one. So we're sitting tall, we're on our shins, cross-legged, whatever feels good. Elbows about 90, eyes forward. I'm rotating my knuckles back without dropping the elbows down. And then I'm rotating them back forward. So my forearms are parallel to the floor. I exhale, rotate the knuckles back. Inhale forward, all right? So rotating back to a goalpost, rotating forward. You wanna make sure that you don't start to drop the elbows too low if you're in this position. Try to ease into the upper neck muscles. And again, focus on those muscles on top of the shoulder blade, in between the shoulder blades. So really good for opening up the shoulders. And again, this can be done without weights. You'll still feel it. Last one. So the next time that you're here, stay here, keep the ribs in, exhale, you can push your arms up, inhale, drop down to shoulder height. So it's an exhale to reach. See if you can feel the bottom tips of your shoulder blades. Now, if you were here, right, you've opened, you can reach out like this and pull back in. So if you generally have some neck or shoulder stuff going on, this might feel better. Or if your neck and shoulders are feeling pretty good, you're here, reaching up, dropping the shoulders out of the ears, and then dropping down just to shoulder height. Making sure the ribs aren't popping. Last 3, either position. 2. And last one. And let the arms and the weights come off to your side for a moment. And just allow the shoulders to be in your lap. Roll the shoulders out a couple times forward and back. And so that'll usually heat up pretty quickly. All right. So releasing that and then making your way onto your back again. And then this time, imprinting through the lower spine. So you don't want your butt muscles to do the work here, but you want to feel your abs drawing in to help lengthen the lower back. Legs float up through tabletop. And then keeping the waistline in as you exhale, allow the right foot to start to tap towards the floor. Inhale up, exhale, and switch. Now you want to make sure that as you're dropping a foot, you're hinging from the hip joint and that you're working from your core. So you're trying to disassociate your leg from your pelvis. Your foot might touch the floor, it might not. And if this is feeling okay, you might just start to reach a little further away from you without changing the arc in your back, or rather the imprint of your back. You don't want to arc. And without changing the ribs, you want to make sure the ribs aren't popping up. But again, lots of different options, tapping close to the body or tapping further away. Take one more on each side. Ending to the left. Nice, and then grab the back of the thighs with the hands, lift the head and the chest up, and you can use your arms here for a moment to bring yourself up off your shoulder blades and just kind of wiggle out your upper back a little bit, relaxing through the shoulders. Take an inhale through the nose, exhale, hands together behind the head, stay lifted. And then as you inhale, lower the chest and the head down. As you exhale, curl back up. Inhale, grab the back of your thighs. Exhale, curl up just a little bit higher. On your next breath out, hands to the back of the head. Lower the head and the chest down. Stay here, or exhale, curl the chest up. Inhale, grab the back of the thighs. Lift a little bit higher. This is where we'll change it. If you want to add on, hands to the back of the head, stay lifted with me. We rotate the upper spine to the right. The left leg can stretch out long. We inhale to center, twist left, reach right. Inhale through center, twist right, reach left. So this is kind of adding in everything that we've done so far tonight. Upper body is moving and twisting. Legs are reaching long. Core is staying engaged. One more each side. If you're doing the full crisscross, ending to your left, we'll lower down, hug the knees into the body, and then just allow your hips to roll out a little from side to side. Grab the back of your thighs, take a roll to come up, cross the legs over one another. And one last time, we're gonna come up to the hands and the knees. So this is new. I've taught variations of this, but haven't taught this exercise specifically. So to start, our toes are tucked under, the hands are under the shoulders, and the knees are under the hips. Find your neutral spine and pelvis. So again, not overly rounded like a cat, not overly arched. Holding here, as you exhale, can you hover the knees off the ground just a couple inches? And inhale to lower. So starting here, hovering up, we're maintaining that plank line of the body. The inner elbows are facing one another. The core muscles are still drawing in. Now, if this doesn't feel good in your toes, if you have any kind of arthritis or anything like that, you can wear shoes or come into a regular plank with your knees on the ground. They don't have to lift. Now, if you want to add on, lift the knees, pause. Right? Watch my hips, they're not going to move. I'm going to take my right leg, tap it back like I'm going into plank, but I'm not. Pull it in, left leg taps back. So now whatever leg is left behind, the back of the hamstring, the glutes and the core really have to react to this. Good, couple more like this. And you can also try reaching out off your mat at a diagonal. Hips stay square, pulling in, reaching at a diagonal. So your core muscles, your hip muscles, everything having to work here a little bit more dynamically. All right, one more on each side. Finish off to the left. Lower the knees, push back to child's pose. So we have one more variation on this. So just taking a breath or so, holding here. We're gonna rise back up onto the hands and knees, rolling the shoulders out of the ears. Again, tucking the toes. And then as you exhale, lifting the knees, and then keeping the knees a little lifted, you can start to allow the knees to rotate right. Your weight comes onto your left arm. You can bring your right hand up. And then we come back to center, right? So I'm still on the balls of my feet. The knees start to go left. My heels go right. My weight is on my right arm. So I'm externally rotating my arm bone, right? Opening, twisting. I'm just gonna make sure you guys can still hear me. Keep going. Right. Good, keep breathing. Okay. And again, the option if the rotation on this isn't feeling so good, we can come down. You can always come back to one arm lifting, right, through here. So you're still working on that balance or standing still on one arm while getting that thoracic rotation. Let's just do one more each side. Ending with your left arm up, right arm down. And again, push back, child's pose, toes together, knees open, arms reaching out in front of you. So this time, walk your arms over to the left and really stretch out through that right arm. Allow your head to be heavy and start to breathe into that right waistline. And then walk your arms over to the right and stretch out long through your left arm and breathe into that left waistline. And just one big full breath. And then come to center, make your way onto your belly. So we're gonna come all the way down and your arms are gonna come out to a goalpost. And your legs can be hip distance or wider, whatever feels comfortable. Your forehead can be on the ground or your nose can be floating just an inch off the ground. Now anchor the pubic bone. You wanna feel your stomach lifting and you wanna feel just a little bit of glute on in the background to help stabilize your lower back. Now as you exhale, my hands stay still. My shoulder blades are gonna pull together and then they stretch apart. So again, forehead can be heavy, shoulder blades pull together, they stretch apart. So there isn't a lot of motion that's gonna happen here, right? So once you start to wake up those inner shoulder blade muscles, find the place in the middle where you're not overly wide or overly pinching together, and then just hover the chest up to about the base of your breastbone. Hold there for a couple breaths. You want to feel like it's your upper spine and your middle spine that are extending. Your lower back's going to stay pretty stable. Lower the head and the chest down. Shoulders relax. And again, inhale, shoulder blades start to pull towards one another, peeling up to about the base of the breastbone. Eyes can come along with you, and then bringing it down. Last one like this. Inhale, peeling up. Keep the waistline drawing in. Lower down. And then if you want to add on, we're going to float the chest up just to about the base of the ribs. It's not going to be very high. The elbows lift. Keep the waistline lifting, and then you can hover the palms. Roll the shoulders out of the ears. And as you exhale, you're going to draw your shoulder blades and elbows together. So you really feel the insides of the shoulder blades working. And then inhale, we open back to a goalpost. So it's an exhale, elbows pull back, shoulder blades together. Inhale to a goalpost. Now, if you find you feel your lower back working, you can always lower the head and the chest down a bit and see if that helps. Or you can come back to this first option where your hands are on the floor and you're going to have a lot more support for your back. On the last one, wherever you are, let's hold. Take a breath in, maybe lifting through the upper spine just a little bit more, waistline still lifting. And then set everything down, push back, child's pose. One big breath in your child's pose. And then we'll rise up coming into pigeon. So right knee can walk towards the right hand, kick the foot open and send the left leg back. So you can start up on the hands and just kind of wiggle the hips from side to side. Find a place that feels square. And then hold there. You have option to come onto the forearms. And you can always come onto your back for figure 4 stretch if this doesn't feel comfortable on your knee or your hips. And that's where you're on your back. You have one ankle crossed over a thigh and you're pulling the thigh towards you. Now don't be too worried about how far, how close your shin comes to being parallel with the top edge of the mat. You can inch the foot a little forward, but our hip joints are all shaped really differently. So make sure this feels stretchy, doesn't feel painful, you can still breathe. And as you breathe in, try to breathe into your belly. Let your abdominals relax now. And then we can rise up, we'll switch sides. So left knee forward, right leg back. You might just kind of shift a little from side to side. Find a place that feels square. Holding into that, you can always come down onto your forearms. Now again, figure 4 is the other alternative here. So you can be on your back, ankle across thigh, hugging the shin or the thigh in towards you. Find a place where you can breathe fully and deeply. Notice if you're clenching your jaw or if you stop breathing. Now on your next breath, rise back up to hands and knees. Round your spine once like a cat. Let the chest open, shoulders glide down, eyes forward. And then find the place in the middle and meet me in a seated position. And we're gonna end seated. You can be on your shins, cross-legged. If any of these positions don't feel good, you can also be standing. But we're gonna release the wrists and the hands a bit because we did a lot of plank work tonight. So you wanna reach your left arm out in front of you with the palm up. Your right arm is gonna come underneath and you wanna grab the root of the thumb, spread the fingers, and draw the arm down. As you inhale, release, right? Grab the root of your pointer finger. You can use your right thumb to help leverage the palm and the wrist to open. And you're just going down finger by finger. Now, if you've never done this before, this is a forced yoga technique to help release the neck, the wrist, and the palm. But these muscles can be pretty sensitive. So if this is new to you, just go easy. Shake that hand out. And then right arm reaches out, palm up. Left hand comes underneath. We grab the root of the thumb, spread the fingers, draw down into diagonal. Inhale to let it go. Grab the pointer finger, spread, open the palm. This is also really good if you are on a computer or using a mouse or texting. So just making your way down finger by finger. Good, shake out that right hand. Just be mindful of anything or one around you. You're gonna reach your arms out. So really push these imaginary walls away from you. Spread the fingers, pulling the fingernails towards your head. And then you're gonna roll through pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. Make a fist, draw the knuckles down. So the kind of the top of your wrist gets a nice stretch. And then relax that. One more time, push the walls away. Roll in, pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb. Draw the knuckles down. Relax your shoulders and your jaw.
And then relaxing that, we bring the arms back up, palms facing me, thumbs pull in, all 4 fingers wrap around the thumb, and then the knuckles draw down. So now kind of this side little part of the wrist gets a stretch. Notice the difference from side to side. Again, let that relax. Open back out, palms face me, thumbs in, fingers wrap around, knuckles draw down. And take one more full breath. And then relax the arms into the lap. Palms can be up or down. As you inhale, lift your shoulders up into your ears. Exhale, draw them together and back. And as you do this, you can close your eyes if you want, or they can just stay softly open. But notice if anything feels different at the end of the hour than it did in the beginning. And reverse those circles. Exhaling together and up, forward and down. And just find a place where your shoulders are easy, you're not forcing them down or up. And then together we'll take one last breath in through the nose and out through an open mouth. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you have any questions, let me know. You can always email the front desk, or you can email me personally, dan@studiobluepdx.com. If you have any questions, we'd love to know what they are. I'll pull the chat back up. There's a lot of different workshops coming up.